There was a time when families used to be big. All members of a family lived together children, young, the old, and the very old. They helped each other, shared household responsibilities, gathered together at meals, had family outings. Many families ran a common business, had joint property and finances. Marriages were arranged. The family assets would be transferred from one generation to another, and so would the liabilities. Young people did not worry much about the future, as the family would take care of it. There was no need for insurance. Family life is now very different. Family businesses have given way to individual startups and ventures. A family is typically made up of parents and one or two children. When the children grow up, they prefer to move out for education or employment, many times quite far away from their parents' homes. As a result, the established practice of parents first raising the children and then the children later taking care of their old parents has largely disappeared. Living has become independent for both the young and the old. It is not just physical and emotional independence, but also financial independence. In the olden days, parents made great sacrifices for giving their children a good start in life. In this process, parents did not arrange for their own well being and often expected their children to serve as their insurance. Things no longer work in this manner. Retirement and post retirement planning has therefore become a crucial part of aging well. Planning for old age is not simple because it involves distant vision and imagination. While one is young and inexperienced, one has to visualize what kind of life would be good to live in old age. The wilder the imagination, the more difficult is the planning. It is further complicated by the possibility that by the time one would be actually living that imagined life, the world would have changed. So not only has one to imagine one's own life, but also what the world would be like. This is tough because there will be so many imponderables to consider and several hard choices to make. Notwithstanding all these difficulties, retirement and post retirement planning is desirable, and the earlier it is thought of, the better it is. Even if a small investment is made early in life, it would have a compounding effect and give a high yield. Small monthly investments made early can therefore turn into a good monthly income later on. Small investments also carry smaller risks compared to large ones made later in life. It is advisable not to delay investments beyond the age of 30 or 40. This is the time when one may be earning a decent income and may not be overburdened with family expenses. So, major savings are possible, and there is a long period ahead for one's money to multiply. As one's age advances towards 50, the situation becomes tighter and more demanding. For a salaried person, retirement may come as a shock as the salary stops coming into one's bank account. It may involve moving out of company provided accommodation or not having personal staff or a company car or a chauffeur anymore. If the job is pensionable, the shock is absorbed to a certain degree. For a non salaried person, like say a businessman or a professional, retirement may mean a loss of earnings, perks, and status. It is possible to adjust to a reduced income in old age by reducing expenditure on things and activities that can be done without, like moving to a smaller house or selling one's car and using public transport. But there has to be some continuity between the lifestyle before and after retirement. Retirement does not mean living like a recluse. There are several reliable savings schemes for senior citizens that assure a decent monthly interest. If one has more than one house property, one can be used and the other rented out. That becomes another source of monthly income. But to be the owner of two houses by the time one retires itself calls for advanced and judicious planning. There are two other factors that senior citizens need to bear in mind. One is that the rate of inflation may reduce their purchasing power with time, even if their income remains at a steady figure. So, at least some investment should be such as to provide possible growth and not just security. The other is that a large unexpected expense may suddenly arise, particularly health related, for which they have to keep aside an adequate financial buffer. In old age, it is advisable to take all decisions related to finance, property, and expenditure with due care and consideration and not in a hurry. Other family members may be consulted if required, but the decision should be one's own. Finally, one should not give excessive importance to money. When we came into this world, we brought nothing into it. When we leave it, we can carry nothing with us. We should remember this while dealing with money matters.